begin.
Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Social Primate Podcast. First and foremost, this is the last episode of 2021. Obviously, this is the 31st of December. So for those listening to this after the fact in the brand new year of what is 2022, remember that this was a piece of the 2021 history. So save it somewhere, flag it, whatever it is to make your things easier. Just save it because, I don't know, I'm just letting you know, sooner or later there might be some Social Primate NFTs exclusive. Who knows? Just saying. But besides the point, I want to thank every single one of you who has listened to the show, supported the show, gave me feedback on the show, reached out and just said hello or just acknowledged the fact that these episodes are making it some sort of, I guess, impact on you, you know? So thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope we continue to ride on this experience together, see where this goes. I'm excited for the future. Hopefully this year is a lot better than the last tour. But if not, we're going to continue doing what we do, and is continue surviving, continue pushing through and hustling. You know, we gotta keep doing it. Now, just real quick, this episode is 2 hours long. So I highly suggest for you to listen to it in increments if you can. For sure, if you fall off and you put it to the side for a while, that's more than okay. But I highly suggest you come in and just finish it off. So if you have the time, do your thing and enjoy the conversation. My guest today is a very special person. He's a very great friend and an even better human being. I got Ricardo Perez-Pineda. And it's honestly been a few years since I last had the chance to speak to him. I think it was time for me to find a way to get him on the show. And we made it happen. So again, it's a 2-hour conversation, digested slowly, and it's going to be great. You know, just to kind of give you a brief description, we were able to sit down and have a deep conversation about shifts in culture, the impact of policies in our communities, and obviously personal stories associated with how those affected us overall. You know, again, policies affect real lives, and sometimes it's easy to forget that. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and we'll see you in 2022. And now your favorite part, music spotlight. Now, another quick thing that I did different this time is I did insert music in the middle of the episode. I'm just experimenting right now, so let me know what you guys think, if it's something that I should continue doing or if I should remove and just keep it old school with music in the beginning and the end. Whatever works. You know, I'm open to ideas. I'm open to feedback. I'm open to criticism. So let me know what you guys feel, if it works for you. Otherwise, it's going to stay. Maybe. I don't know. Experimentations. But today, most importantly, today's music is brought to you by Putrescence with their song 4 Inches Deep, which is a song that you're going to listen to as the intro coming up and as the outro. And the next song is Corruption from Within. So check out both songs. Honestly, a dope ass band, so give them a follow. If you're not even like into death metal or anything, that's completely okay, but just know that this exists and that these guys are doing it. These guys are gonna make it big. I'm just letting you know. So stay tuned, check it out, give them a follow. You can find them on YouTube, you can find them on Spotify. You know the drill. We'll see you guys next year. Peace. Start in 3, 2, 1. Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Social Primate Podcast. Today, my guest coming in from I haven't seen this guy in years. What was it? 4 or 5 years?
5 years, I believe.
Damn, it seems like longer, dude. It seems like longer. But today we welcome back Ricardo Perez-Pineda. Damn, what is up, man? Thank you so much for coming on to the show, because it's been a while, man. Because I remember I used to see you in high school, a little bit of middle school, and then since then you kind of just been all over the world.
Not quite yet all over, but I'm hopefully get there.
You're in the
I will get there.
Damn, dude. So most recently, you're coming out right now from Washington, D.C., right?
Yes, I live in Alexandria, Virginia, which for people who, it's like the greater Washington, D.C. area. So I'm like less than 10 minutes away from, on that 10 miles away from Washington, D.C. So for all intents and purposes, I live in Washington, D.C.
And you've been out there for the last couple of years, right? Like maybe what?
My wife and I moved to Washington, D.C. about 2.5 years ago. We both got our masters in Boston. She went to Tufts and I went to Brandeis. And so coming back from Rwanda, so I lived in Rwanda for about a little less than 9 months. And as I was finishing, I went back to Boston for a few months, and then we made the move to DC. So that was about 2.5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Now I did want to kind of nitpick a little bit about your experience in Rwanda, because I know you were there. You said what, a little less than 9 months? You were out
I was there from 2018, the very end of 2018, and the end of September to, I believe, April of 2019.
Ah, okay. I mean, technically, that's enough time for you to get an idea of what, like, I guess the life is really like there, right?
Yes. I lived there, and I had the really good fortune to be able to travel to Kenya, and I had lived in Tanzania for a few months prior to that. So, I had a pretty macro understanding of life in East Africa. Of course, it's not going to be the same because they're different countries that have their own identity, their own history. But I had like a rough estimate of like what life would be like.
Yeah, that's crazy because I mean, a lot of people think that if you go for a week or something, it's like, oh yeah, I got to live in Japan, I got the whole lifestyle. It's like, nah, I mean, you got a little taste of what you want as a tourist, you know? You only got to hit the actual, like, big spots or famous spots or something. But it's not like you're actually in the communities, like, seeing what everybody's going through and you kind of putting yourself in that same position where you're really experiencing it for yourself, you know? Personally, have not had the chance to do that on my own. Like, have to go out somewhere and be, like, thrive with the communities. You know, it's just LA, you know? But I'm hoping to be there at some point.
Over 20 million people in Los Angeles, so cultural exchanges happen on a
you know what that is true.
Every second basis in Los Angeles.
That you know, I agree with that because I see people from different backgrounds, and you see how they communicate, how they react to each other, and it's interesting to see as a outsider. But I know I'm also part of this whole like system, like you're just a pawn in it. So it's cool. It's cool to see that the fact that you're able to step outside of what most people can't do and just see the different perspective of it. And then for sure, a whole different class of it. We're used to certain things here that, you know, you go to other places and we're like, damn, that guy is taking shit for granted. Are you okay if we cuss?
Oh, yes. I don't mind.
I have to say it.
I don't. It's your show.
Hey, you know, sometimes it's about making people feel comfortable, I think. Sometimes. In very spare moment. Sometimes it's reality. It hits you fast, you know, and you just got to deal with it. So, whatever. The point is, outside of their community, especially here, like right now we're recording out of Huntington Park, and it's just.
I was born in Huntington Park.
There you go. You know, you're just.
But the Mission Hospital no longer exists.
Is that where the Smart and Final is
at? Where I was born is no longer there, and it's been replaced by Smart and Final. So.
How long have you known that? Did you just find out?
Oh, no. So my former roommate in college in Santa Barbara, Hector, he lives right by the church and in, I believe that's Mission Street.
Yeah, I want to say it's Mission and Florence.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So he lives off there. And so he has let me, I've had a progress update over, I remember like, he was like, hey, because I asked, because he lives right next to it. I don't know. It just happens, you know. And he's like, "Oh, their fence is up." And then all of a sudden, it was like, "The building's down." And then it was like, "It's a Smart and Final."
Is it Smart and Final? But you know, the cool part is that it has an underground parking. Man.
Does it?
It has underground parking.
Is it justify people not having healthcare in the community?
Oh, god damn it! No, it does not. But you know, You know what?
But people need their produce, so I don't know. I think for whatever reason, the city of Huntington Park was okay with the hospital going down.
No, no. I think from my understanding, and my understanding of it is very, very little for the people who are listening to this. Apparently, that place had like just really bad stuff going on inside of it. Like there was just all these negative things, or that were really just what's it called? Just miscare, just mishandling people's shit. Yeah, so there was some
deserved to go down.
So in a sense, it deserved to go down based on, again, the little information that I know. But I can just look that up, people. And then again, it still doesn't justify the fact that it's a smaller final. Maybe it could have been a different hospital, but who knows? Who knows? It's funny that you're bringing up the whole healthcare, dude. Like I recently had a mishap where one of my tooth went like oh my bad, I cracked and stuff, so I had to go get it replaced. And since I don't have insurance because I make air quotes too much, but I don't make low enough from the poverty line, I'm kind of stuck where I pay high for insurance. Like my insurance is kind of high when I pay out of pocket, so I don't have it. And so I ended up going to the dentist, paying out of pocket for my fucking tooth, and I had to spend like $3,000. So it's monthly payments, people. But dude, it's fucking, now I have to worry about that shit for the next 2 years.
I have a lot of colleagues who have like European partners, and even when I was in Rwanda myself, all of the Europeans are like, why isn't healthcare like free? Like, you know, they're so used to it, like it's such a normal part of their psyche. So that's like I think the most like criticism I hear is like, I don't get it. Like, how do you not take care of your people?
That they tell you specifically to try?
Not me specifically, but in general, like that's like a general like mindset difference.
Yeah, something that they see from because we're here and we're like
another thing is I have very high student debt, and my friends were like, I got paid to go to college. Like it's the whole like student loan system thing. Like doesn't, from my understanding, and maybe it's just the select friends I had, but like for sure, like in Belgium and like Germany, like college is free, or like you don't really pay that much. I think, and that may be not as 100% accurate, but I believe like 4 or 5 years ago, UK students were protesting because their tuition went up to like $8,000 a year or something like that.
Damn. Okay, it's not even a lot. What the fuck?
You know how much 1 year at an undergrad at a private school costs? On average.
Here in America.
That's like nationwide in the US.
Oh, God. You're talking about a year?
1 year of undergrad.
Ooh, fuck. I'm just going to throw a number out. Say, this is like that Wheel of Fortune. I'll say 65,000?
Yeah, I think the median is like 50,000.
Okay.
It's average, right? Mm-hmm. So they're like, that makes absolute no sense.
Yeah, it does not. See, I want to ask a little question. Like, maybe, I don't know if you really have an idea, but like, what do you think that is? Like, do you think we haven't made enough like political progress to get to that point, or is it just not viable as economical wise? Like, let's just pay for college for everybody.
I mean, in practicality terms, right? Like, we have 300 million people in this country. I don't know what the population of Germany is, but I would wager it's not more than like 60 million, maybe that. I don't know. You can Google it. But like the European like countries, like Belgium is tiny. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I don't know the number, but like the
asking for the population of it.
Yeah, like the population. So like, what's the population of like Belgium?
Population of Belgium. Let's find out. Let's ask good old Google. Let's wait for it to load because my signal here is kind of bad. But the whole point that you're trying to make is the fact that it's not economically viable.
I just understand that the scale is different. 300 million people. I mean, there's 20 million people in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
California is the most populous state with 58 million people.
Yeah.
So
a big amount.
It's a lot of,
it's a lot of people.
I don't know what the least populous state is. Montana, I believe. And I believe there may be like 2 million people.
Yeah, you went there recently, no?
Yeah, I did, but I would think it was like Alaska or something. It was like Alaska.
No, I think Alaska does have a pretty. I mean, compared to other states, yeah. Right? My fucking Google sucks, right?
The population of Montana, and I think I want to say maybe North Dakota is the least populous states. I'm not sure where Alaska ranks.
So real quick, just to kind of input. So it says as of 2020, there is 11.56 million people in Belgium.
Okay, that's... And my wife always gets like... She's like, you can't compare everything to LA. But like, LA has 20 million people.
Yeah.
So there are twice the amount of people that live in Belgium live in Los Angeles.
God damn, dude.
If you just think about it, like... So...
Wait, did you say Los angeles right now?
Yeah, what's the population of LA is...
See, population of LA. Man, I like the fact that we can just Google it right now. Population of LA County. It says out of 2019, it says 10.4 million.
Oh, okay. What about the greater Los Angeles County?
Let's find out. Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. So 2019, 18.71 million.
Okay, so I was off by 2 million people. Mm-hmm. So give or take 3 million, just to be as accurate, right? That's still greater than the population of Belgium.
Okay.
So I mean, the scale of how you address things is going to be completely different because there's more people in LA. So therefore, if we're just one part of a larger country, I don't think one model is going to solve that problem here. You're going to have to need multiple models from different places to make that happen.
Yeah, it can't just
how that happens, I have no idea.
Yeah, right. It can't just be one that is a fucking multiply times whatever amount to cover everybody. Yeah, and that's crazy because you a lot of people that's like, man, free healthcare, free education. But it's like, and people are under the idea that like, oh, if we push it enough, it eventually will make some progress. But there's a sort of reality that says, okay, well, you can scream all you want, but my wallet's, it doesn't go that deep. You can't do it. It's like your mom telling you, hey, I want something from the store. And you're like, no, ahorita no puedo. It's like there's a reason, it's like she doesn't have the money to stretch out, it's not because she just doesn't want to, so it's like, I mean, that's just a small metaphor of saying it, but it is unfortunate. And now I'm stuck with a bill for the next 2 years. It's not even anything, it's just the one tooth, it's just the molar. And now imagine something fucking bigger, dude. It's outrageous. It's something to easily anger you, and again, people from the outside in, they're like, hey, why aren't you covered? You guys have it. But I don't know. I mean, I know that's what Bernie was trying to do. At some point he was trying to push like the whole free healthcare and education. I think up to recently, I think LA County, I think community college now for the first 2 years, I think it's free for most students that qualify for it.
Oh, it's really serious. Is that just LACC or is it all community colleges?
I'm not entirely sure.
I went to 3 community colleges. Yeah. I went to East Los Angeles College, Cerritos College, and Santa Barbara City College. Yeah. So I think community colleges of the most value.
I want to see it's most community colleges, at least in California, for sure. And I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. Forever, whoever's taking advantage of that, like, fuck it, do it. Because, a lot of people before we got started, they didn't have something to help them out with. I mean, they had grants and they had federal aid programs. But of course, sometimes depending on your situation, you either were granted them or you were denied.
So my mom came at an older age, migrated from Mexico, and she went through she had like a college degree in Mexico, but the amount of money it takes and the time or whatever to do like an accreditation is like, she just didn't go through it for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And she went to East Los Angeles College, or she went to Bell High to get like a GED, went to East Los Angeles College, and then graduated from Cal State LA and was a teacher for a long time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm like, how many? Like, I have a good friend of mine who, his name is Jesse. He went to, I don't think it was I know it was an LBCC. I can't remember which community college, but he ended up transferring to UC Irvine, and he's like an engineer now. So like, I really do think community colleges are of the most value, and they're underrated.
Yeah, I think,
in my experience, at least.
Yeah.
They're super underrated. And also, Rick, I remember seeing you in SVCC.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I remember being in Santa Barbara and then meeting up with you one time, and we just kicked it, and drank some beers and
Santa Barbara. I lived there for 1 year, and it was an amazing time.
Yeah, I only went a few times just to go out there and visit this guy. And I was like, this place is really pretty. It's cool, Like I for myself, I ended up just doing straight community college. I was an introvert, man. So it's not like I'm like, I want to be friends with everybody. It's more like, hey, I'm just gonna stick to myself.
He was holding hands with people.
How many people?
Maybe like 3
At the same time?
at the same time.
So was it you combined 3 or one and another?
No, one, and one just holding me from the back.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. They're just friends. But the whole point is community college is the way to go, people. You meet a lot of people there. But if you're of course, if you're extroverted. But that's not the point. The point is that community college for me, it was something that really helped, because at some point I went to LA Film School.
Which community college did you go to?
I went to Cerritos and I went to East Los Angeles Community College. So 2 different ones, but I love Cerritos all the way. Sorry, it was a cool school. But anyways, the whole point is that I went to LA Film School, man. And the part that sucked too, it's the whole school stuff. I haven't paid my student loans off for that school, and I didn't even finish the program, which is unfortunate because I started with good intentions, At some point, I was like, you know what? Maybe video game design isn't the best way to go, So I was like, I'm gonna.
It is.
I mean, I guess it is now, but at that time in my life, I was like, I don't see this, and I just quit, And then you just get these student loans still dropped on you, and you kind of have to fix them if you don't want your credit score to be affected, So it's like all these things that kind of just tie up that, at least for me, growing up in this community, I wasn't very well educated in terms of what the future was outside of high school. I just go to college and boom, that's it. There was no breakdown in terms of life skills classes. The only life skills class I had was in Bell High School. I think you went to Bell, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this teacher, Mr. Garza. No, Mr. Garza. What was his name?
I believe you were in a different track. I was in track C in high school.
Ah, okay.
You were track B, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
B was better. Same.
I was in all 3 tracks growing up through LAUSD. I was in A in Park Avenue. I was B in Elizabeth Learning Center, and I was C in Bell High School.
You got a little taste of
I've
everything.
experienced the entire year-round schedule. You know what? At the end of the day, was LAUSD, trying to fit in as many kids as possible because the schools were overpopulated.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you are the same exact cultural person because you are my neighbor, and they just couldn't figure out how to fit you next to me at school.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to be honest, I think they did a good job. I think the track system was great.
Although still B was better. I'm just saying, Rick. Okay, but the whole thing, it was cool. The fact that the life skills class that I had, because at that point the guy was just like this old cholo dude. It was like an old cholo guy, dude.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you remember?
He was in the bungalows, right next to the pool.
Yes, he was.
Yes, I do remember him.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I didn't have him as a teacher.
Yeah, hopefully he's still doing great, but he was an interesting character. He was like this ex-gangster, and then he just had always these gnarly stories, but at the end of every story, it was like I don't know if you ever saw Mi Familia or something like that, the movie, like My Family or something. I forgot what it's called. But the point is, it's like a recollection of stories of old, gangsters in the 60s and the 70s.
No, I don't think I don't know if I've seen it.
One of those movies. But the whole idea was that he had these crazy ass fucking gangster stories, but at the end of it, he had this life lesson. This is why you need to learn how to manage your money. And it's or something, Or this is why you don't do drugs. And it's but it'll be gangster stories my little friend, little mono, something happened to him and he got fucked over and he learned this lesson. So it's like him teaching you his life, and at the end you learned this lesson. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, don't do that. You're right. I do want to avoid that situation.
So
that sounds horrible.
it was a fucking weird way to get through somebody, you know. But at the end, he had that impact, and that's why I remember him now. And I avoid certain things, and there's reasons why I'm not like I've learned to slowly to start managing my own financial responsibilities, like being more mature about it. You know, yeah, I'm fucking 30, 31. But so what? You know, everything happens at different stages in life, and that's something that I
totally agree with that.
You know?
1000%.
Yeah, you know, it's for people to think otherwise. It just feels like, you know, it's just a little ridiculous. You know, that's just the progress of how people fucking go about.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, point is, there's a lot of things in the system right now. I'm trying to get this other person on this podcast. Not that I'm like trying to give people a sneak peek, but they're trying to build a new school in Cudahy. There used to be these factories on near the railroad tracks, and point is, Cudahy, as every other
Cecilia?
On Cecilia, yeah, Cecilia and Tap, something like that.
It has to be Cecilia and either Atlantic or Wilcox.
Patata, yeah, one of those Wilcox. Yeah,
That's where those are.
Old school factories, yeah. They used to have a liquor store, but they're trying to make a school there, and apparently, like all these documents got leaked out that the place has like levels of crazy arsenic and lead just up the roof, like up the ass.
I believe I heard a podcast that you hosted with this dude from a community who laid it out so well that he talked about how like they've known for years that lead is in our communities, but they still build schools there. Like, and I think he was like, I believe he said something to the lines that it's proven that people exposed to lead like are more prone to violence. And he was also, I believe he was talking about how like LAPD has like the largest police force, but like right next to it is like the largest subset. And I was like, why is it that the two largest police stations are like in our communities of color?
Wait, which ones are those?
I am not going to remember the names, but I do know. I remember him being like the LAPD,
and then the sheriff's office.
It was a subset office. I don't remember what the name of the station was, but he was saying that they're like right next to each other. That was his whole point of like, okay, so to your, why are you bringing this up? Like, if there's a bunch of lead under these warehouses, that makes sense because Park Avenue was closed for a while because they had to excavate some type of like waste that was toxic to kids.
And there was so the people that the group I'm talking about, they basically were affected by the whole community stuff at Park Avenue. So basically,
I believe I heard you talking about you were there when the
airplane. You were there too.
Dropped.
Yeah, it was like fuel, jet fuel
on the school and all these houses.
So, dude, that's just a tip of the iceberg. So Park Avenue basically. What's wrong with my microphone here?
What was that company again? Was it Swissport?
No, it wasn't Swissport. It was Delta Airlines.
Delta.
So basically, what happened with that, just to kind of give people a little quick glimpse into it, was that here, let me grab some water. But so basically, what happened was that Delta Airlines, apparently they had to go ahead and just make a turn. Right, they were flying over the fucking city. They made a turn, and what ends up happening is that they released the fucking fuel over basically southeast Los Angeles. And the fuel ended up landing on mostly Park Avenue, sprinkled around Southgate. People felt it. They said they started feeling like kind of itchy and like weird. It started smelling really bad. And basically everybody got fucked. Because what happened was that the plane just took off, and then they made a report on it like they normally do. But what ends up happening is that they're saying like, oh, well, that was the most viable place for them to release the fuel or something. And it's like, what? Why? And they're like, oh, because where they're turning, they have to go through the Beverly Hills area, doing like the upper fucking LA area.
Wow.
They completely avoided that.
Have you ever seen, I'm sure you have, I think it's a pretty famous like graphic by now, but you have like the equality versus equity drawing. You know what I'm referring to?
No, I don't think so.
So it's like they have like let's imagine that this backdrop here is divided into two like squares, like across, right? Mm-hmm. On the left hand side is equality. So you have like a little girl, like a middle-aged person, and then a top, and then like an older dude, and they're of different heights. But equality means you give them the box the same size. And then on the right hand side, you have equity, where since the little girl is so much, and there's a fence. So they're trying to watch like a baseball game. So with equality, the tall dude can see better. The middle woman can, or the one person in the middle, because it can change. But the concept is the important part. Can see the game, kind of, like can barely peek over. And then the little girl can't see. Whereas equity, the man gets like a little box. He can see the game better. The person in the middle gets like a bigger box, and then they're at the same height. And then the smallest person, the little girl or whatever, gets the biggest box.
So technically, they're almost at the same height.
That's what equity is. And so, I don't remember how we got to equity.
We're talking about they had the option to drop it.
No,
over.
we got to, but there's a reason why we brought up equity versus equality. Oh, Beverly Hills. So an equitable decision would have been, we'll throw some over Park Avenue and Beverly Hills. Like if we're gonna spill it on people, the equitable thing was to disperse it evenly, but they didn't. They poured it over little students in Park Avenue. So that's maybe that it's equality because we all had an equal chance, or I wasn't there, but the community of Cudahy had an equal chance of having its fuel dumped on it than Beverly Hills. But the equitable thing was just you all get it, and so that's what happened there.
See, that's fucked up, and that's the thing that makes me ponder the question. Like, what are people okay with? Like, are you people just okay with that? Because, like, I don't know. I remember, like, Caesar and I, like, among with a bunch of other people in the city, we actually went to the city. I wanted to go just to kind of see what the fuck they were gonna say about it, how they were gonna try to flip it to be like, hey, it was an accident. Like, okay, yeah, it was an accident, but who's taking responsibility for the fact that there's fucking toxic liquid still falling onto the ground on top of people? You know, because again, if it would have happened in any other community, like especially a white community, they would have rallied up and been like, no, and then something would have happened.
Well, the difference is I don't know if they're just people who are white. I believe they're all people of higher socioeconomic status. Okay, yeah, so they have much more money than your tia who lives next to you.
Of course, yes.
So
no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's the power imbalances, right? Like if you're able to hire a lawyer, you may be able to make a case. I don't know how many people here.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking rare when somebody's like, hey, tamales por $1, and you're like, nah, I don't have $1 for you. It's like nobody's gonna want to put like, hey, pitch in $20 for a lawyer so we can sue this. Nobody wants to fucking get through with that. Like I know a lot of people. There was a time where my parents used to live. They had problems with the landlord. The place was suing everybody. We were trying to kick people out, but everybody was afraid of getting a lawyer. Like nobody wanted to lawyer up, and everybody just ended up leaving. It's like, no, you have rights as a fucking tenant nonetheless, like something that you can still try to flag.
I had something similar happen to us when we were living here in LA. So my wife and I lived, I'm originally born and raised Southeast LA. So here, Cudahy. But, I've moved a couple of times back and forth in the country and a little bit abroad, just a tiny bit. When we came back to LA, we lived by the Westlake MacArthur Park area. And so our rent was quite affordable, but we didn't live in the best neighborhood. Like we weren't living in Westwood.
Was it cheaper than Cudahy?
I think we got a really good deal. I think I can't remember exactly, but I believe we were probably paying like, I want to say $1,200 with utilities included for a 1-bedroom in LA.
That's great.
I may be off by a couple $100, but so why I bring this up is what happened is that the landowner didn't do some like proper renovations or whatever. And so we all qualified for reduced rent. And so me and some neighbors were like, well, you understand, like telling everyone else, like you understand that like we can pay reduced rent, but like the amount of people who actually went through with it wasn't consistent because, I was going to UCLA, so I knew I could get free legal counsel at UCLA if something went down. At the end of it, if someone like lawyered up on me, I'd be like, I'm gonna go consult with this free service that I get from UCLA to talk to a lawyer. They know more than I do, and then I'll make an appropriate decision. But till then, I'm gonna pay the reduced rent. But not everyone was in that position, right? Like, not everyone was like people have different economic status, stability, or whatever. You know, like there's so many life factors so I was in a position of like privilege to be like, I can take this to court if I really needed to. And I was sure of that. Not everyone in their life is at that same, like, there's people who may not be like legal citizens.
Of course.
So they're like, dude, I love living here. I don't want to get kicked out. Like, and there has been, you know, historically speaking, these things called deportations that happen. And, you know, they don't want that to happen to them. So they pay the regular rent.
They'd rather just take it. You know, but again, that's something that I like to try to, well, at least really, really try to push with, you know, with the podcast. The fact that, you know, whoever's listening can at least get some information that they don't know about and look, you know, pick up their phone and Google it. You know, because a lot of the people around here don't know a lot of the things that are accessible to people. Actually, as long as you're a citizen, you know, a citizen or no citizen. Sorry, that was the wrong word. But as long as you know your legal rights, like, you're capable of doing a lot more than you're just, you know, handed to. You know, I've been through so many positions where I got screwed over because I didn't know what my rights is. Either a consumer, as somebody who was, what can I say? How do I say? I don't want to say what I've been in trouble for, but I've been in trouble, people.
It's time to confess,
no, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna confess. No, point is, I've been in positions where if I feel like if I would have had more information or known who to approach to get legal counseling from or some sort of advice, I would have been a little bit better off in terms of, I don't know, I guess the legal outcome.
Yeah, I mean that's you are if your viewers don't know by now, you are brown. I believe you are of Mexican descent.
Caramelo.
Okay, so like you happen to live in a community of color, and our chances of understanding that kind of knowledge is not very high. Yeah. Whereas people who were born in more affluent communities have lawyers in their family.
Yeah, of course, like every other family member is like attorney or lawyer.
So again, to the like equality versus equity, like we're not really doing good in the equity side of things.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm talking about this, you know, everywhere.
Yeah, no, and I think anybody who's really paying attention clearly sees that there's a big difference between the, you know, everything around your environment compared to where you are right now. And if you go just a few miles up north, just talking about LA right now, you know, of course, big ass difference. And if you're paying attention, you don't know what the fuck's going on, because otherwise you're just, I don't know. And that's what kind of bothers me, dude. The fact that if people are aware of this, and I know it goes back to the whole money and to the whole knowledge and stuff, but dude, at some point you have to say it's enough. It's like getting punched in the face continuously. And then at some point you gotta be like, oh fuck, I'm either gonna just die or
I actually
just
have a question for you.
Fight back.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So I haven't listened to every single one of your podcast episodes.
Shame on you.
But I've listened to a fair amount. I think a considerable fair amount. Maybe your diehard fans would agree, right?
Fuck, is this maybe?
But you have talked to like these community leaders, these teachers, these people who are like poets and people who are advocating on behalf of people, you know, in our communities. And it's like I'm only how old I am now, but I think that people our age, we're all like the same age here. Like there's, especially right now, so many great like community leaders that are making a difference now. I don't live in Southeast LA anymore, so I can only, but I'm asking you, so this is my question to you. Like you right now, you're like, we're only getting punched so much in the face. Do you think that's changing?
I do have a feeling about it. It's something I've mentioned before. Like, I personally at least feel like my interpretation of the community changing, or at least facing the issues that are happening, is by people. It to me is people creating art, like the way they're expressing themselves through their mediums, whether it's the music they're making, you listen to what they're talking about, you listen to the poetry people are making, they're becoming like self-aware of the community and what's going on around them. So the very fact that they're trying to bring those arts and make them bigger here, to me, that's a cultural shift in terms of what we've seen, at least in the last 20 years. Because I, like myself, grew up here I came here in like in 95. But since then, like, this has been my hometown, you know? Right. And I've seen what it went through, like the fucking shifts and how everything was going about. And it wasn't until now that you're really seeing a push in it's definitely people younger, us and people younger than us, that are pushing this new movement of, you know, cultural understanding through their arts and just really being, you know, fucking pushing through different boundaries. So to me, that shows that there is a shift happening in terms of the consciousness of it. It's not where I think we should be yet, but it's.
Wait, do you see it happening?
I see it happening.
You see it, like, it getting there?
For sure. I see it. I know we'll get there. I know we're still not, like, maybe not even halfway there, but they're working towards it, you know. And I think that's enough action, at least. But again, this is just me, a speck in the last fucking thousands of years in this area. So to me, it seems like there's change happening, but change could have been happening that time then, you know. But that's just my interpretation of it here. It seems like there is a movement happening, at least in this general area.
Yeah, I would agree with Lalo, because I feel like I've been part of the Southeast LA community for a long time, and I've always been, I guess, donating my time for community service with different nonprofits or orgs. And I do see a lot of more people kind of giving a fuck. You know, before you'd go out and people wouldn't really want to listen, or, you know, they don't care. And then that level of, like, I don't give a fuck is even bigger, like in the hood area. So it becomes a situation where people are just, like, suffering also for no reason, you know, when it could be like, especially the Hispanic community right here in the Southeast area, we're not really united at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, separate as, like, divided as fuck, dude.
Oh, wow.
And I even feel it even even when I just feel like as a whole, Hispanics are not really, like, about, like, oh, let's I mean, compared to every other race in America or in the world, everyone's like, oh, you look like me,
I think, okay, so I did Chicana studies, and so I'm gonna get, like, very nerdy about this.
Hell yeah.
Like, Hispanic is not a realistic term to express the umbrella term of everyone we're supposed to represent, because I believe you are Mexican as well, Caesar.
Half Central. And half
was it? What's Salvador?
No,
Guatemala, Mexico, right? So, just historically speaking, Guatemala and Mexico have more in common than Mexico, Guatemala, Argentina, and the Dominican Republic. Those are all under the same umbrella term. So, like, someone who's from Haiti should be, technically speaking, Hispanic, but because they speak French, they don't classify them as Hispanic, because you have to speak the Spanish language, which then in turn includes people from Spain. So people from Spain, Bolivia, and Nicaragua are not that close if you think about how big that term is supposed to include, which is not accurate.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the point that you just made, so for, I guess, the correct terminology, and when you're trying to group, like, let's say myself, right? Like, my parents are Mexican, I'm Mexican American, but I will still fall under a specific group, right? Like, let's say they're giving me a U.S. form, and you're like, hey, what is your ethnicity? I'm doing, Hispanic.
You know that in the census for, I believe, 4 decades, the term has changed every single time. So I believe in the 80s under Reagan, it was Hispanics. I think 90s, it was Latinos. And then 2000s, or like, maybe it was like Hispanics. I can't remember, but the point being, each decade that label has not been consistent.
Yeah. I was reading. I don't remember the article I was reading too, but I was reading that at some point it changes.
I mean, in 1848, once the Western Hemisphere Southwest became part of the United States, like for the long time in the records, people who were born of Mexican descent or other there's people from like Guatemala, Salvador, other Latin American countries or other countries as white.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's been a legal ambiguity with the
Caesar, don't turn on anything. I'm on pause it right now. Wait, sorry, go for it.
Yeah, so like even back when the Southwest was incorporated into the United States, there's always been a legal ambiguity to Latinos or whatever term you want to use. But whereas other minority cultures like Asia is also a it's a huge umbrella term too,
Yeah,
because
put everybody under that.
because you're grouping someone from like Uzbekistan, Tajikistan to someone from like Southeast Thailand, Bangkok, Cambodia, Japan. Those are all historically different cultures as well.
Well, with that being said, we're going to take a quick break here from this education lesson. Now, real quick, people, we're going to take a quick music break. Yes, we're doing things a little different today, but we'll be right back. And we're back, people. Quick little break. I hope you guys enjoy that music. Before we jump back on, I just want to, because this is the first time I put music in the episode in between, so we'll see how people respond to it. I'm telling you off air, like the whole ad stuff, like I don't want to put breaks in between the conversation, and mostly because I want to keep the conversation like as real as possible.
I didn't get to listen to the music though.
Yes, you did.
Did I?
We were supposed to pretend, Rick. We were supposed to pretend.
Oh, I didn't know that. You can edit this out, right?
No, I'm going to keep it on. This is a real conversation. This is what I want. The real behind the conversation. It's not just us sitting down and being proper. And, I mean, we are being a little proper. We have to be standing up here. But, like, gentlemen. But the whole point is the conversation is real. Because at the end of the day, interaction between two people it's random. It just happens, And this is what I want to capture with this podcast. But going back to your point earlier about Hispanics and Latinos, it's a weird term. Yeah, I feel like I don't even know how to identify. Sometimes like I'm a little lost. Like I forgot what quote it was. I think it was probably from the Selena movie. I think I heard it. Like you're not Mexican enough for the Mexicanos, but you're not too. Or what was it?
There's a saying. It's ni de aquí ni de ahí.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of like. Yeah, I kind of identify it to an extent in that sense, Like, I don't know what to call myself. Like, if somebody asks me, my first reaction is like, oh, well, I'm American. But, then I start breaking out, but where are you from? I'm like,
where are you really from? Question.
Yeah. And you're like, well, my parents are from Mexico. Oh, my God. My parents are from Mexico. And they're like, oh, well, what part? And I'm like, oh, and then I start getting deep into it, but it's always that identity thing. And I'm just like, I'm American. I was born in Pasadena. Just shit like that. And it's kind of hard. So I see why I like mislabel things like that, and I can see why when people are like, oh, well, maybe call it Latinx, then you're like, oh man, now I don't even know where. That's another term you're giving me when I already don't know where to label myself.
What is your understanding of the term Latinx?
Well, to me,
if you don't mind me asking,
from my understanding, from what I've been told, is that it's to an extent it started because you don't want to do the O and the A, like the masculine and the feminine, because at some point or another you're saying that one is stronger than the other, so it becomes this whole thing about hierarchy. And then at some point, I think a few years ago, if people remember, instead of the X, it was Latin, but with the arroba.
With the arroba, yeah.
With the @ sign, And that was the way to say, because it was an O and the A, it was kind of ambiguous. You don't really know, but it covers both. But they removed it because then at that point, the O, if you see the arroba, the O is going over the A. So it's saying that the masculine is above the feminine. So they changed it into an X. So it's like not straight lines, crossing lines that are equal. And now it's not an X. That's my understanding of it. It's just a way to kind of, and again, an umbrella term to kind of put people underneath where you can kind of describe both without assigning a gender too, in a sense, because
also the X is supposed to be inclusive of people who identify as transgender or people who don't,
Yeah, and I think
who are non-binary people.
And I think that's recent though. I think recently they started like. How can I say it? Making it more in terms about defining it that way. Because I remember just a few years ago, it was more like, oh, I'm not Hispanic, I'm not Latino or Latina, I'm Latinx. But now it's more identified with that. At least that's where the movement seems to be. So terminology for it.
In my personal belief, and I don't reflect everyone else. I believe in what I think, and I believe you should identify however you want.
Yeah.
And then I think in different spaces you identify different ways. Like my wife and I went marching down after the George Floyd, the Breonna Taylor, like a lot of that injustice kind of like part of, our really, really recent, history. Like, we're talking the beginning of 2020, right? That's summer 2020.
Like last year. Yeah.
And I had a Latinx for Black Lives Matter shirt. So in that space, Latinx, it was appropriate for identifying myself that way. Mm-hmm. When I was, younger, maybe Mexican American was my most important identity. And like, when you're abroad, your identity like fluctuates. Mm-hmm. If I told someone I was Mexican American in country in like when I was in Rwanda, for example, if I was like, oh, I'm Mexican American. They're like, what? I'm like, wow. But I was like,
Yeah.
like, como Mexicano, you know, like Mexicano y Americano. Or like, but you know, like I still say it that way. And people are like, what? And like, Chicharito? Chicharito! And then that was it. Chicharito was always awesome. Like, Chicharito?
Yeah.
Everyone knew because of Manchester United, everyone knew Chicharito. So I think like my wife makes fun of me for this because she's like, every time, that's how they're like, Mexico. Because Mexico. And then they don't get it. Like, she's like, Mexico.
Yeah. Well, actually, Chicharito. Wait, I think he's playing for Galaxy. Just
is it? No, yeah. Carlos Velas is with LAFC, and then
He was, I think.
Oh yeah, he's
sure.
not with LAFC anymore. I think they lost him.
Oh, Vela?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, I think Vela might be. No, Chicharito might not be with
Really?
Galaxy.
Weren't they just? I know they didn't make the playoffs because they were like that close, or they're like they didn't win their game to get them to the playoffs. I believe.
Yeah, I know Chicharito was there last year because he only played one game before COVID happened, and then he just went like training or just went out. But Chicharito, wherever you are, you remember it all across the world.
I know
sick.
that's
He's
honestly
sick.
like a valid truth. I'm like, people didn't when I say Mexico didn't understand what I was talking about. And then Chicharito, they're either they brought it up or I would bring it up. Somehow it happened a lot.
Yeah.
And there were people like, yeah.
And I mean that's what you're saying. Like you like at that point you will associate with your what will that word be considered though? It's your
Like my cultural ancestry. I don't know.
yeah, right?
I don't. Okay, and so that's one way to like identify myself in abroad. You know, so like, and in the future, I'm gonna have a different identity than that. Like that's not gonna be my go-to. Like because identity fluctuates in the situation that you're in to best suit that context, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like
So identify however you want. But what do I know? That's just my personal opinion. I may be wrong. I'm not an expert.
It sounds right.
we all agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
No, but I think it's like you said. I guess I'm sure that if you go to certain places, if you say like, "Oh, I'm straight up Mexicano," compared to like straight up, "Oh, I'm just American," I'm sure people are gonna react maybe different, right? I mean,
yes,
yeah.
definitely, for sure.
You think that's just based on like political things?
In what context are we talking about? Are you talking about like global, or are you talking about at the local level?
Global.
Oh yeah, it makes a huge. The tone is completely different if you identify as Mexican American versus American. That's two different. Those are you're tying like a hybrid identity. So like people may know what you mean when you say American, but the Mexican American for someone. Okay, so like let's take like a 180 turn from someone who is not really aware of other countries, and like when you're abroad, like to them Mexican American, they understand American, but Mexican they're like, maybe I don't get what you mean by that. Or this has happened to me, and it has almost happened to a lot of other people of color. We're regarded as white when we're in like countries abroad. Like I've been in East Africa and South Africa. I've not traveled extensively like other people have, but as a person of color, like they don't see brown; they just see white. For me, I'm just white.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't care about Mexican Americans.
The shades, yeah.
So you understand American, but the Mexican American is like, oh, it throws you for a loop because you're not. And at the end of the day, you're still white.
Yeah.
To them in that perspective, and I think that happens to a lot of different people of color. I'm not 1,000% sure, but from all the other people of color I've talked to,
Yeah.
what tends to happen.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, if it's just about to happen. You know, there's so many of us. Of course, the chances of people experiencing that are very, very high as well. You know, so fuck, man. That's what it should be. You know, we are here in our little city, just in Cudahy. It's an HP. We're like, this is the world. But then you're like, you know, it just takes a fucking trip just across. Not even across, maybe just into another state or a couple of fucking hours up north, you know? and then you just got like this cultural shift in terms of what you thought life was, you know? Like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
just-
I mean,
changes.
my wife and I got our masters in Boston. Dude, it's freezing up in Boston. So like your mood shifts. Like LA has a great weather like most of the time, you know?
Yeah.
Like people are complaining that it's cold and they're freezing. I think it's like 55 degrees.
Which is funny because right now when we took that break, I was thinking like, man, you only brought that small jacket. And I'm like, I have here a hoodie and a little fucking Levi's jacket with wool inside. Not real wool, people.
There's a reason I was like, Rick, grab your jacket.
I know,
bro.
it's funny because when you called me a few days ago and I was like, yeah, it's getting kind of cold in here. And I was like, it was only like 57 or something. And you're like, yeah, that's nothing. I'm like, dude, it's fucking cold for LA at least.
So like that would shape your identity strong if you're like,
Oh, yeah.
and like I lived in New York City for a couple of years, and I prefer New York City winter over a Boston winter any day of the week. Like they're both like bad.
How bad is it?
I think it was a good experience going through it. Do I prefer it? No. I think Washington D.C. is like the perfect weather. It's a compromise between all of the stuff.
Oh, really?
I believe otherwise. I do. I think Washington D.C. and this is my personal opinion. People can disagree. I think Washington D.C. is like the perfect compromise of like L.A., San Francisco, Boston. Not even Boston, like New York City and like maybe Philly, because it doesn't really snow in Washington D.C. And I don't know if you read this in the Washington Post like a couple of days ago. They were talking about how like a lot of states that used to get snow, like Colorado, California, Washington D.C., states up, they're like not getting snow that they used to get traditionally, you know. And like they were talking about how since Colorado is not getting the snow that they're used to, that doesn't get down the river. And like that affects Arizona, like New Mexico, California.
Yeah.
Because that's water that the state
One of the
depends
water
on.
sources, yeah. Yeah, just recently I went to Vegas and then I went to Hoover Dam. And you can see where the water level was. And you're like, holy shit, and that's a Colorado River. And you're like, holy fuck. You know, and again, I don't know, I want to say it's the main one, the main source of water. I know there's other little areas, but I want to say that's the main source. So just seeing that depleted, you're like,
Oh shit,
like,
we're
oh
fucked.
shit, yeah, we're fucked, dude.
We're fucked.
Who knows where things are going, dude? And it kind of freaks me out because, I don't know. I actually wanted to ask you something. You've been in DC for how long?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. So you were basically in and around the area when the whole they charged the Capitol. Dude.
I was. So I was working from home at that time because we were all working from home, and I knew when I worked from I've been working from home for like 2 years now. I am very aware of my work habits and how to work effectively. And in the earlier I lived in a different apartment than I do now. My wife and I moved apartments just maybe 7 months ago, more plus or minus a month, I don't know. And in my previous apartment, we had this in our kitchen. We had like this bar stool space that you can see as a window into the living room. So it was like kitchen, bar stool space, living room, and then in the right hand side we had like a TV, and on the left hand side you had like a sliding door, and we can go out through that. So there's like a little balcony space. We lived on the first floor. During that moment in time, for really special events, I would move my computer monitor from work into that balcony space, hook up my computer work as important things were happening on CNN. So I tuned into CNN to see what are people going to be saying about this certification. I just want to understand where people were coming from. So I was tuning it on in the background as I was doing work. I was on a call with one of my bosses when I was like, oh my God, are you seeing this? Like, turn on CNN now. What I was expecting to see was people giving their opinions of what was happening. And I saw a riot escalate like right away. I actually called my mom. I was like, Mom, like, do you see what's going on? Like, turn on the news right now. Like this. And so like my wife, she's a Montessori school teacher. And so at that time it was like COVID, like, you know, like when the beginning earlier stages of COVID, we're still in a pandemic, but obviously like it was in the earlier stages where we knew less.
Full-fledged COVID.
Yeah. And I remember being like, come straight home. Like we don't know what's happening. Like don't like definitely don't even get close to Washington DC. Like stay away from. And my wife actually worked in the Congress. She worked in the Capitol. I mean, she worked in the Capitol for 3 weeks, and then COVID happened.
Oh, fuck.
So like, my wife worked in the Capitol, and so like, she had a whole even different perspective than I did.
Yeah,
because I mean, she worked there, you know.
Dude, that's fucking trippy. I remember seeing. I first started reading it online. I was like, hey, breaking news! You know, they start rushing the Capitol. I was like, what? I turned on the news and you start seeing. I was like, dude. I kept thinking, like, man, what the hell is gonna happen? You start seeing the photos being released of them inside. Dude, I was tripping out. I was just like, my God, first of all, this is a history happening right now. Like, what the fuck? This is
history that I never wanted to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, it was shameful. Very, very shameful in those terms. Sad, shameful, and just, dude, it was a way to fucking, I don't know, dude. It was just the crazy last few years that we've been having.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I need to ask you, do you travel outside of California a lot?
I would drive for the most part. I'll go like Arizona, just close by, like
in general. Do you not leave the Southwest area?
No.
Okay, so I had the very good fortune to go to Florida in November. So was that last month for a metal festival? Metallica headlined two nights.
Yeah.
Metallica headlined 2 nights. Slipknot headlined 1 night, and Disturbed headlined 1 night. And I saw like Anthrax and like Gojira and Rob Zombie and Sting. I saw all the Mudvayne. I saw the best bands ever. And I've seen you in ska shows, right?
Yeah.
We went to a lot of ska shows together, right?
Oh yeah, man.
And we went next to each other in punk shows, correct?
Yeah, we did.
So like, I don't know if you recall, but like, I love being in the pit. Like, I love being in a metal pit. And I was in a metal festival for 4 days, and it was amazing, and I loved every second of it. How did I get here?
The metal episode of me talking about crazy times, and you're talking about going to Florida.
Okay, so I know where I'm going with this. So one of the crazy things about Florida was that like people do not think very similar to how most people that I grew up with, who I kind of keep in contact with, talk, or maybe if I don't talk to you like every day, I kind of understand where you're coming from in terms of your like your politics, right? And people in Florida and Daytona Beach do not believe what we believe.
Beach, yeah.
It's a completely different. They don't think exactly how we, but that's fine. Yeah. But one thing that I did, one of the active things that I did, I got an Airbnb like 30 minutes out of Daytona, this place called DeLand, Florida. Great place. Loved it. Had an amazing time. I went to this like really small business owner place. They were dead, unfortunately. They're usually busy, but everyone was in the metal festival, so they didn't show up to the bar. Yeah. But it was cool because I got to talk to like the bar owner, the bartender, and the bartender's friend. Me and my homie Rudy, and I got to talk to people who were completely like, they just literally on the fridge just had like Trump 2024, like DeSantos is the best, like. I had a great time though, and I was talking to people who have like a completely different ideology from what I believe in. But we had a productive conversation.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's what you want, right?
Okay, so if I don't know, I think I'm gonna try to in a metal pit. If for people who've never been to a metal concert, and understand what a mosh pit is you have really good bands. Hopefully, for the most part, you have good bands. Some bands better than others. But let's talk about like a band like Anthrax. I love Anthrax. They had an amazing pit. And what a pit is, you're like running around in circles, pushing each other, getting pushed. Like,
maybe getting punched a few times.
I've been punched. not in Florida. But like, in that Florida show, I was in at least 10 pits. I was a pro. Like, I had like, it took me like that Thursday was little, but like Sunday I was like do. I was like a machine. I was like, because like, well, anyhow. So what I was telling these people in the land, which I had a great conversation with them. I bought a shirt from the bar. Like, I was like, dude, this is amazing. What I was telling them is like, what I don't understand is that like, when you're in a metal pit, and so in this like metal concert, my friend Rudy is also Mexican American. We're like the two out of like 250, 300 minorities in a 40,000 person concert. Like, we were definitely minorities.
Yeah.
Like, we are minorities. And so I was like, I don't understand how like in the pit, after like the whole shit, like we're pushing each other at the end, we're like high-fiving each other, like, yeah, man, that show's great, hugging each other, like, yeah, like, there's such a like bond, and you're like, in that moment, you're like, dude, yeah, that was amazing, next song, like, it's, and then I'm like, I don't understand how like in the pit you can be like so cool with me, and like, we're brothers, like, this is amazing, and then as soon as we step out of these concert like doors, I don't like that dude because he doesn't look like me.
Yeah, I've seen that happen many times.
But I'm like, I don't understand that. Like, if an hour ago we're in the same pit and you embrace me like a brother, but then like an hour later we're not in the environment anymore, you're just gonna like turn over on how you think. Like, there's something like, I don't know what that bridge. How is it gonna happen? That's someone who's way smarter than me will figure that out.
I mean, that's the idea. I mean, but like you said, how you said earlier, like you were able to have a productive conversation with people who were opposite from what your ideologies are.
And you know what? Like, this country would not be great if we didn't have a diversity of opinions. And that's like the ultimate line. Like, it's only through having these like not as similar views come each other to talk about how we feel things. Like, one thing that I didn't understand, and I get it from the bar owner perspective, was like, because this hunt has allowed us to open business again, I can open my business that was closed for 6 months and make me no money. And I was able to like kind of get started. So like, they were in his eyes and his perspective, and it's his lived experience, but from what he told me, is like, yeah, he let me make money again.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you were keeping me from me making money for 6 months, I would not do well.
Yeah, of course. And if it was me being affected, I would be like, man, fuck this.
Then this dude's like, let's open your business again. You'd be like, yeah, that's on. So from the perspective, I understand why they would support him. For them, he did something was of value. I don't live in Florida. I visited for 5 days. Metal Festival was amazing. One of the best metal festivals I've ever been to.
I mean, for sure wouldn't have happened here in California.
So a little context. I am in Los Angeles to visit my parents for a few days and record this podcast. And I'm going to see Metallica's 40-year anniversary concerts on Friday and Sunday. So I am here because I'm here to go see Metallica play 40 years anniversary show. So like, I love metal. Like, I love Metallica. They're my favorite band. I have a Metallica tattoo.
Damn, injustice for all.
Injustice for all. So like, the fact that I'm able to see Metallica for the 40th anniversary show, like, I'm probably gonna cry.
Hey, dude, it's worth it.
I actually caught Kirk at the end of the show. Kirk Hammett threw pics into the crowd, and I caught one. So I have a Metallica pic from Daytona Beach.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Wait, Daytona Beach? Was that an outside? thing? Every time
Yeah,
I
it was
think of
outside.
Florida,
It was
I think it's
outside.
outside the beach in the sun.
No, it was actually Turner Beach is the world's quote unquote. The marketing is the world's most famous beach. I think that's how they say it.
Isn't that where they have the NASCAR?
Yeah,
NASCAR.
It's Daytona Beach. Yeah,
I have to get out. Oh, you were there like
that's
last year,
that's
no?
actually where the festival was not in. Like, so the festival goes around or the track. So it was in between the track. So there was 2 main stages on opposite sides, and then 2 small stages in the middle.
I'm gonna go see this coming year. It's my first time seeing Morrissey. I'm not their biggest fan, but I enjoy his music.
Oh, were the tickets reasonable? Price-wise?
They were like $300 for like the day. Just 300, just 300. But you know that's the magic of payment plans, man. Payment plans.
Man.
But yeah, I mean, it was a good dollar. It was a good little home in my pocket.
So I'm looking forward to Tool. They're playing AFI. Actually,
AFI.
You like AFI?
I mean, I heard them. I remember hearing them.
Okay,
but
well, they're paying for a reasonable price. I know I'm saying that. I bought tickets for Iron Maiden.
ooh, nice.
I'm seeing Metallica coming up. I really want to see Gojira again, but I'm not seeing them playing. But I think for me, the hardest part about the pandemic was not being able to see live shows.
Yeah.
My last concert was Slayer farewell tour, Madison Square Garden.
They're officially done playing, huh?
They
supposedly?
said, you know, they closed out 2 nights in the Inglewood, the Forum, and they recorded those 2 shows, and they released the final, like, this is it.
You know, the part that always tripped me out was that, fucking, you know, I don't remember his name right now. The lead singer.
Tom Araya.
Yeah, he's from HP, right? He was.
Yeah, you know, he graduated from Bell High.
He graduated from Bell. I remember going to the lunchroom and I remember seeing his mural.
Tom Araya is on Bell High.
Dude, I was like, oh shit. And there was like, yeah, he used to come to high school.
Low pro. I was just telling my friend this. I was like, my goal is to be next to Tom Araya in the Bell High Auditorium.
Oh my God.
That's like my life goal. Like, if I can get next to Tom Araya from Slayer and the Bell High cafeteria mural, I'm gonna cry, dude. Like, I hope I can achieve that. That's like a life goal.
He's gonna listen to this podcast one day. He's gonna be like, I'm gonna look for Rick.
If Tom Araya ever listens to this, I just want to tell him that I love his music and I appreciate the hell out of him. And if they ever want to do a reunion show, I'll be there. I'll be there. If they ever decide they want to do that one night, I will be there, Tom Araya. This fucking head. So I don't know. So you can't see this in the podcast, but I have long hair now. So this was a COVID pivot.
Yeah, because I remember you having short, like you over short, like kind of like a little spike, you know? Yeah.
So I had very long hair. How long would you describe it?
I would say, honestly, you know who Fabio is?
None of them know.
Okay, he's some guy from like the 90s. He was like this really, really good looking model with luscious hair, dude. He had this fucking beautiful fucking mane of hair. You're fucking Fabio right now.
Oh, wow.
You're Fabio.
I'm blushing. I don't know if you understand how much I'm blushing right now.
I feel the whole long hair during COVID thing because that's the same shit.
You already cut yours off.
Nah, I just hide it with shit like hats and beanies.
So I wanted to. So I was like,
That's
okay,
hilarious.
headbanging with long hair. Is it really that fucking awesome? I saw Slipknot with my homie Javi out in Virginia, like close to the end of October, and the openers were Code Orange, Atreyu, Killswitch Engage, and Slipknot. And fucking cool ass story. We got upgraded from the lawn to seats that we got. So we got like upgraded like from lawn to like seats and fucking watched them like so close. And I was like, fuck yeah. And I knew I was going to watch them again in Florida. So I was like, fuck yeah. Like I was like, so I love Slipknot if you can't tell from now. They're great. And, I was headbanging to Fever 333. They're like a band from Inglewood.
Oh shit!
Have you heard of them? Fever 333.
Some friend, he has like what's it called? Like a shirt?
The
a sweater?
cat. I think it's like a cat or like a. Well, anyhow,
Yeah.
check them out. They have some good songs. Fever 3. They're from Inglewood, I believe. I tested it out, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I love Killswitch Engage. They're like one of my favorite like bands from back in like the early 2000s. They came on and I knew their songs. Like, oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, they came out to play?
Yeah, they were part of the bill.
Oh, shit.
They were
That's
right
pretty
before
cool.
Slipknot. So
Damn. So they had some throwback kind of music then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a big metal fan?
I mean, I was more into like the
I
classic
saw you at
metal.
I saw you at metal shows, but I don't know what kind of like. I seen you at punk shows.
Yeah.
I seen you at like ska shows. I seen you at metal shows, but like.
Yeah, metal shows I used to just go with more. Well, I mean, for sure it's gonna be more like probably like alternative rock that because before I went back in my fucking high school days, for sure it was punk rock, ska, and then from there I was going to a lot of like just venue shows, like, but it was mostly indie. Nowadays it's just a mix. But if I have a choice, I'll probably go to for sure like a fucking like indie rock, yeah, like dream pop or dream wave. It's like the dreamy like.
Dream pop, Lalo.
Yeah, it's very.
What can you name some like dreamwave pop bands?
Beach House. There's a band called Beach House.
I've seen them live.
Yeah. So they're kind of like that. It's kind of dreamy. I would say kind of like Tame Impala, kind of psychedelic.
So my friend and my friends and I, what we like to do is we like to name an artist, and for that month listen to their catalog. So we did like the entire like. So even if it's like it's kind of just to like hear literally because
Broaden it.
okay. If you can't tell, I love music a lot and I love all these artists. But do you know how many albums Iron Maiden has?
I want to say like more than like fucking 10 though. No?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I believe maybe it's like 18 or 19, like, or maybe it's not. It's like at least 15. Like as an Iron Maiden fan, younger. Like, I knew all of the hits, right? Yeah. Like, I knew fucking, like, Running to the Hills, you know, like Hallowed Be Thy Name, Fear of the Dark, all the hits, right? Like, I knew all the hits. And I've seen Iron Maiden live 3 times. So I know all the hits, but did I know every single song off of every 19 albums? No. Yeah. So what we did is, in, like, the month of June, we listened to all of the albums. We did the entire catalog.
The whole discography shit? Yeah.
This last month, we did 2 bands. We did Chicano Batman, and we did Tame Impala.
Ah, okay.
Because Chicano Batman, I believe, has 4 studio albums, and I think Tame Impala has 4 studio albums. Tame Impala has a live album, so I skipped that one because I wanted to listen to the catalog.
Yeah.
So I just finished listening to Tame Impala's entire discography.
What did you think of him?
I saw him live in Governor's Ball. In New York City in 2015.
Oh, okay. That was kind of. I think they're almost. No, I think
their major hit at the time was Elephant.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that was a little bit before they. Yeah, they were already kind of going up. I remember, because they started in like 2010 or 11 or something when they first started. You know, and they didn't get big. I think so. I don't know. I think it was like 2011, 2012. But that's besides the point. The whole point is...
Okay, so that's kind of the shit you like listening to.
Yeah, now, honestly, fuck. I mean, if you really, really want me to be honest, I've been getting into dark wave.
What is the difference?
So dark wave is like kind of like... I will consider it kind of like goth music. I'll say like post-punk / what else? Post-punk. So post-punk / fucking Blade music. Yeah, dude, it's kind of like a mix of like some sort of weird house music / fucking rock. Like,
you talking about high school?
No, not high school. Like, if anything, I'll play a snippet of a band.
What kind of music do you listen to?
You know what? I like all kinds, but lately I've been listening to, and this is because I went to Miami recently, and I got in tune with the whole like Caribbean beats and Afro beats, kind of like islandy music.
There is I hope my friends don't get me wrong if I butcher this, but there's a particular dance music from Tanzania called bongo flavor. I hope I didn't butcher that right. But it's like awesome, like super sick, like African like dance music that's chill and like awesome to dance to. Like, I love that shit, dude.
What was it? What did you say? Well, how are you pronounce it?
I think I'm butchering it.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll figure that out right now.
Can you Google it?
Yeah, I can Google. Let me see.
Try and Google bongo flavor Tanzania.
sounds like a hit. It sounds like a hit.
You
Or
said bongo?
It's a type of music.
Bongo what?
okay, so
Bongo
okay,
flavor.
So genre.
So
Like bongo? Oh, bongo.
BANGO.
Oh, I found one. Spotify knows what we want.
Oh, there you go.
All right, I'm gonna play a song here. We're gonna give a shout out. Please don't.
Wait. Can you give me a couple of? Do you have a
yeah,
Diamond
let me see.
Platinums on there?
Diamond Platinums, Nanzaji.
Play that one.
Oh, fuck.
He's
All right.
he's a hit maker.
Let's go Diamond and see. Look at the preview. I'm gonna wait for the beat to drop.
I don't know this song in
Okay,
particular.
okay.
But that was the first one, right? But like,
Yeah.
that's just for whoever's listening at home. Check that out. It's awesome.
You said that was from where?
It starts in Tanzania.
Tanzania.
They're like
Oh.
known for it. Yeah, check that
I think
out.
it's great. It's funny. It's not funny, but it's interesting how like you still kind of get like the sound of like what is it called, reggaeton too? You know, there's still like that. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
cool. You know, there's like that influence regardless. You know, and
I mean, you know what? At the end of the day, everyone wants to have fun,
Yeah.
dance, and chill.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And it sounds like dance, chill vibes have a very similar kind of range, you know?
man, that's
Yeah.
one of the things I like about being a human. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
being able
it's
to enjoy
amazing.
shit like that.
Dance Revolution.
Did you ever play Guitar Hero? I'm sure you play Guitar Hero.
I did, but
no,
I was not that good.
Okay, I'm sure. Okay, if you're a Metallica fan, you had Guitar Hero, or you played Guitar Hero.
I played
Metallica.
it. I played it, but I was not that good. Actually, I played Beatles Rock Band and for like a Thanksgiving.
Okay, yeah.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was pretty
We
cool.
played that for hours.
Yeah, that game was pretty addicting. I used to hang out with what's it called? A couple of friends. The whole set. Dude, we'll walk out of that
Yeah.
room sweating.
Yeah, that whole thing. That was so cool.
Dude, I felt like I was walking out of a concert.
and
you
you
know?
like
It was
rotate,
fucking
right?
sick.
Like you don't just like do one instrument. You like make sure you're rotating.
Sometimes people just wanted to hog the drums. And I'm like, dude, fuck off, man. It's my turn.
That's what's going on, bro.
He's like, I'm ready.
There's 4 Beatles.
So I mean, but yeah, it was a good game, man. It was a good times, you know. And but you know, when I said like the whole like being part of like, it's one of the things I enjoy being human. You know, outside of all the like intricate stuff that we have to deal with because of like all these people would say social constructs, you know, but it's like, you know, there's things that just are really pleasing just to do as a person, you know, there's a meat bag that we are, you know. It feels good to dance, you know. It feels good to go into a mosh pit, you know. That fucking primal just coming out of you and like, you know, he's having fun, vibing.
So I have a good story from Florida. So I was in so currently my finger is broken. If you notice, my left index is broken.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, it's broken.
Has it been broken?
Yeah, it's been broken for a few months now. So I was playing goalie for my soccer team because our goalie bailed on us, and so I took one for the team, and taking one for the team, I broke my finger playing goalie. And like the idiot that I am, talking about medical health insurance. I actually have medical health insurance, and I still didn't go to the doctor. And it was until my wife was like, "Hey, idiot, it's time we go to because my hand actually swelled up. Like my hand swelled up, it turned purple. Like I actually had to like take off my wedding ring because we were afraid that it would swell up and just fuck me up. Like,
Oh yeah, amputated.
like it legitimately, my hand swelled up, it got purple and everything. And so like I was like, it's fine, it just got jammed. And so like eventually we showed up and to the emergency, not the emergency, the urgent care, and they're like, "Oh, you came here because you knew that your finger was broken, right?" And she was like, "I told you." So she called that. She was like, "You fucking shit. You broke your shit."
And you're like, yeah, you're right.
So I was in, I believe I had just come out of Lamb of God, which was amazing. I've seen them before live, but like, I've never been in they were so I saw Slayer on the 5th and the 6th leg of their farewell tour. So I saw them in
Damn,
Boston.
those.
Yeah, I saw him in Boston, but in seats. And then I saw him in Madison Square Garden on the floor, which is fucking sick. I had seen him before.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I saw him in Big Four as well. Love Slayer. And Anthrax, Slayer, and Kiss are the 3 bands I wish I was more into earlier, so I could have seen them live more.
Yeah.
But I saw him. I've seen Anthrax 3 times. I saw him up for Iron Maiden in Irvine. I saw him at the Big Four, and then I saw him in Foot. But again, I wish I would have seen him like earlier.
The Big Four was an annual thing at some point, wasn't it? No,
which is one time in India in 2000.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
2010, I want to say.
Yeah. Oh shit, you're right. I remember seeing my friend went. He's like, "You want to go?" I was like, "I can't afford it, man."
Oh man, you missed out. You fucked up.
Thanks for reminding me.
You fucked up, man. I don't know what.
Where to? Where?
I just say, if Tom Mariah is listening, come on, man, make it big.
Let him have a picture.
Come on, man. Have a picture. One more Big Four.
Come to your hometown. Go to your old high school. You know, represent. You know, that's hopefully one day they're gonna be like, yeah, you know, Eddie, he's from Cudahy. I'm like, yeah, but I won't be in Cudahy anymore. Nah, I'm gonna fucking die young. I can't. I'm gonna live forever.
Well, that's what legacy is, right?
Yeah, you know, instead of you know, kind of not talking about that, but yes, I was playing this video game. I was playing this game called Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, it's like a samurai Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yeah, samurai. Yes,
I don't play video games, but I have a Nintendo Switch, and I'm a Game Informer subscriber, and I'll go through it,
see what's going on. Yeah,
you know, like half that magazine is like advertisement.
Yeah, I canceled my subscription. Not that I ever read it either, but I'll kind of just
flip through it. But actually, I do want you to feel like I don't have too much time to play video games, but when I play them, I'm into them. And I know they're coming up with like a Advance Wars reboot, and they're doing a new like Mario versus Rabbids. I really like turn-based strategy RPGs, and I'm fucking looking forward to that shit. So that's like where like, but I don't play video games. Wait,
what other games do you play?
I don't really play them. Oh, I really like Age of Empires.
Age of Empires.
Okay, and there's a new one that I haven't downloaded or played yet. I just don't have the time, to be honest.
Yeah, so especially this game, Ghost of Tsushima, it's kind of, if you've seen like gameplay of Zelda, the new Zelda, it's just open world.
Breath of the Wild I played, which was amazing. So I love Breath of the Wild.
So now imagine Breath of the Wild.
You recommend it?
Have you played it?
No, I haven't.
Switch? Do you have Switch? Do you play video games?
Rarely, but so I enjoy it.
I would make, if, I don't know, you had like 3 hours a week and you don't have really anything else and you like playing video games, it's like the best 3 hours a week. I love like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I got the new Zelda they just released where you have to use like the motion controls.
Then there's there
was just a reboot that was just released on the Switch. I'm can't remember the name right now, but it's like a re-release from like the GameCube version or like the it's like a origin story
for Zelda.
Yeah, it was just released.
Oh yes, I think it was for the Switch. Ago. Yeah, it was like like kind of an expansion, but it wasn't
like a remake of a older Zelda game.
A Link to the Past, I think it was. I think that's the most recent one that at least came out on the Switch.
Maybe that's the one that I got. Okay. But I passed Breath of the Wild, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it's a badass game. You should definitely check it out.
So, actually, I got a Nintendo Switch in June of 2020 because it had been March, April, May. It had 4 months into the pandemic, and I was like, okay, like I need something to do to like occupy my and that's why I bought a Nintendo Switch because I was like, dude, like I don't play video games right now, but like, or I don't have the time now. In that time I did, and I'm like, if I'm gonna spend all day home, I'm gonna buy myself a video game and fucking do some shit, you know?
And explore Hyrule.
Definitely play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So the Ghost of Tsushima game, it's basically Zelda, but in samurai, ancient Japan, and it's fucking rated R, and then throw in some Assassin's Creed if you guys played that before. It's like historical context. fucking, you're a lone samurai. You're fucking, the Mongols came. They just took over everything. You had to save the villages. Dude, badass game. If you ever get to play that game, badass game. The whole point to this story is that they're talking about like legacy. They're talking about discipline, just like these really human like aspects of ourselves that we don't necessarily train. It's we're still very animalistic, so we're just more like on the whole fear
is that
aspect.
like an Easter egg for your listeners? We're all primalistic, and we're on like social primates. Is
Follow
like
me.
Was that like a dig? Was that subtle, and I wasn't supposed to call that?
We're never gonna have you on again.
Oh damn!
You're
I'm gonna kick out. Damn.
We're gonna put you. We're gonna meet you right now.
Oh damn! They're like,
Rick.
why did you bring you back after 5 years? We should have never brought you back.
This is the
We're
return.
not bringing you back in another 5 years.
Like, what got you into all of this? Like, why did you decide to go into
My profession?
your profession? Yeah.
So I do international development work now. And I think we alluded to this earlier over like equity versus equality. So everyone's struggles is the most important struggle, but it's very hard to empathize your struggle here. As in, okay, like we're talking about the people who are the most under-resourced in Cudahy, and they have like really hard lives, and they absolutely do. But there's also people in Tanzania who have really, really hard lives, and economically speaking, the person who has a hard life in Cudahy still has more than the really bad person in Tanzania.
Yeah.
And I think it's not a competition. They're one of my favorite professors at UCLA was always like, this isn't the minority Olympics. It's not about like, you had it worse than we did. Like, we all have it bad, and none of us should have it bad. Again, back to equality versus equity. And we were not put in the most equitable situations.
Yeah.
And I remember as a young child going to Mexico. I went to Mexico a lot, and my family lives. It's like my brother, my parents, aunt, however, but not really, like pretty much all of like just my nuclear family and like all of my family back in Mexico. So we go like every 2-3 years. Especially growing up, I went there a lot. And I remember my cousin in Mexico talking about her students, how like I guess like they would never even like come to school having eaten breakfast, and their like lunch was like una tortilla with like frijoles, like beans, a tortilla, and that was all they could afford to like send him to. And so she was like, so they're not properly, there wasn't enough proper nutrition to have them like be fully 100% on like their learning. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have the resources, like you're more worried about survival than learning.
Of course.
And so like that's a reality, and like, and I've always been cognizant of that, or I've tried to like act upon it, and there are a lot of people in other parts of the world, and I haven't been to all parts of the world. I really don't. There are like colleagues that I have seen like way much more of the world than I could have ever dreamed of, and poverty is it's more common than prosperity across the world.
Yeah, that's a sad reality.
Across the world, you're more likely to be poor than you are to be wealthy. And the 330 million people who live in the United States are in a general, and again, I'm not equating pain. I'm not like, it's incomparable because we're all live our individual experiences. But I'd rather grow up poor and cut hay every day of the week than grow up born in poverty in like a country that's not as good as the United States. There's very few countries.
True, man.
There's very few countries that have the same prosperity as the United States. We can like, maybe not with like I think combined between the three of us, we can probably get to that number with our two hands. And so like, that's a very small club. I'm out of random curiosity. Do you guys have like any? I subscribe to The Economist. Do you guys read The Economist?
Like really, really rarely.
Okay.
Like every other article.
So in The Economist, for the last like year and a half, 2 years, if you go through the like first 2 pages, there's like a little graphic of okay, it's more recent, maybe like in the last year. The vaccination rates between low income countries, middle income countries, and high income countries. And I actually think I have a magazine with me.
Okay. Pull out the stats. Pull out the data.
I always make sure for my flights that I have like the issue I have.
Reading material.
So check this out. Okay, so on page 6, The World This Week Politics of the November 6th edition, it has vaccine doses given per 100 people. So a high-income country was 140. A upper middle country was 132. A lower middle was 60. And low income was 6.
God damn, that's a big-ass fucking drop.
So if every 6 people in the low-income country is getting a vaccine versus 140 people in a high-income country, your chances of surviving are a lot higher. And so you can look it for yourself.
Let me see that. This dude. What is that? What's contributing to that? Is it the fact that people are just
that
misinformed?
The United States can afford to spend, I think the total research costs for the vaccines probably had to be like, I would imagine it has to be like in the 5 trillion at the minimum. At the minimum, I would imagine. But I mean, it's amazing that they were able to develop a vaccine in like a year.
Yeah, I mean, because
I didn't get my first one administered until April. I got the Johnson & Johnson one in April.
dude, that's a huge fucking drop. Now, low income will be like, what is an example? What will fall under a low income?
If you go to the very back of the magazine,
the very back,
they have country indexes.
Here?
Yeah, country index.
Oh, okay.
There you
Here
go.
we go. Now, let me see here. What? I'm sorry. What am I looking at? What am I looking for here? Yeah, all these charts are kind of scary. Just kidding. Okay. There you go.
So on page 79, you tell me what's on page 79.
Page 79, economic and financial indicators.
Okay, so if you look at the table there, who's at the very top? Or the first 5 countries at the top?
Ooh, United States, China, Japan, Britain, and Canada. Those would be considered the high income?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are the bottom? This bottom 10.
Bottom 10, so we got Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, goddamn it, Mexico, Peru, Egypt, Israel, Saudi Arabia, South Africa.
Then that's not fully representative. Those
Take that back.
Those are still pretty well off countries.
Okay.
So this is
fuck, there is even worse.
yes,
Jesus
those are pretty well off countries, to be honest. Okay, well, maybe this is not the data I was looking for, but
Okay, yeah.
okay. So
Who's the country who's trying to get into, who got Bitcoin into their economy? Like they replaced
El Salvador.
Was it Salvador?
El Salvador, the first country to legally adopt Bitcoin.
God damn, it's fucking crazy. That's crazy.
Oh, and I know
cool.
that you did a Bitcoin episode.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I was
Look at that, another plug. He's subtle.
listen to my catalog, people.
He's subtle. If you like this timestamp here, check out this episode.
Yeah, I mean, you're catching them. God damn, people are like, God damn, this guy's good. This guy's fucking too good. But, but no, yeah, I was hearing that and I was like, dude, that's kind of trippy.
I really appreciate you having me on your show.
Hey, man, the pleasure is mine. Again, it's especially again. I mentioned to you earlier. This is the last episode. Like after this, I'm done for at least. I mean, the fucking year is almost over. It's only like 2 weeks left.
Do you have any New Year? Do you have any New Year goals?
No, I stopped believing in New Year goals.
What?
I just have everyday goals. Like
No,
I have
no mama's way.
No cheesy. Nah, it's just I feel like I kept telling myself
my own way. I strive to be the best every day of my life.
No, okay. I mean, I do have goals,
Which is nice thing to discover, but seriously, don't be a dick.
No, outrageous. Nah, but low key, I am trying to. I've been personally trying to work on things on my own, like for myself, about myself. So those are just things I've been working on, like more like giving myself more. I wouldn't say goals, but just making my own, like, I don't know, like an achievement list, of things that I want to accomplish, and I know that I'm already working towards.
Do you have do you do like self-assessment checks? Are you like, I don't know, do you ever like just, I don't know, like, do you like every like few months be like, in the last 3 months what have I achieved? Do you ever like think about that?
I kind of do, yeah. I mean, I do it a lot for sure for like with the podcasts and like my graphic design stuff. Like if something's not working out for me, I'd be like, hey, I'm just gonna look for a different client or jump onto something else, like stuff like that. It's something that I started doing a lot more on a personal level. Like I do it more often. Like I guess that's I guess if you want to say my New Year's goal, but it's been for the last couple of years, is just being more self-aware about how I react to people, how people interpret my actions and myself as a person. Because I know from what I put out doesn't necessarily mean that that's what people are receiving. So I'm trying to work on that. Like I'm trying to really put effort into just myself in terms of how I just interact with my environment, and to the people, the relationships I have around me. So that's what I've been working at.
Okay, so would you classify that as a personal goal or a work goal?
Say personal.
What's your work goal?
I mean, Jesus Christ, Rick. Asking good questions, huh?
I think there's a very good divide of who you are in your professional life of who you are as a personal person.
Yeah.
So
course.
you have to have both sets of goals. So what's your work goal?
I mean, work goal is I for sure want to do I want to be a small business owner.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I want to be able to diversify and have, at least a handful of assets that I can, survive off of. I guess that's what my backup is, I guess you can say,
Do you listen to rap?
Yeah, every now and then, not like consistently, but I listen to more like old school stuff.
Yes, he does. I heard him.
He actually told me during the break that in the roof of this place there's like hip hop concerts. They used to. So like you're such a liar because you just told me you came to all these hip hop shows.
No, I know. Yes, I know. But I come to enjoy just the ambience.
Wow.
It's the ambience. I'm just kidding, people who I've hosted before.
He's in love with it.
He's trying to duck and cover, and it's not working. My friend.
Okay, no.
We know his secret.
Well, anyhow, so what I was getting at, the point. How did we get to this point? There was a point I was getting at with the story.
I was saying something about, you were saying something about my work goals, and I was saying like, I want to be a small business owner.
Okay,
and they said,
so I know where I was going with this. And this small clip that I saw of 50 Cent, and we all listened to 50 Cent in middle school.
Yeah.
He was fucking popping.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I saw the game live at USC. I went to UCLA, and so UCLA over USC any day of the week. But I did see the game. I saw the game at USC, which was awesome. I did this like international relations summit thing as like a high school student, which was awesome. It was really fun. Very good learning experience, I feel like. And afterwards, they were having this concert, and the game was headlining, and then like Ghostface Killer and Raekwon were playing before that. So like I got to see like, so we saw like so many members of like, I think we saw Chef, Raekwon, Ghostface, and
Wu-Tang.
I think Kapadala maybe was. Well, anyhow, we saw a fair amount of the Wu-Tang members, and then we saw the game when the game was also popping. And so in this video that I saw of 50 Cent, he was like, before when I was playing shows, that's the only time I made money. Once I started on my own businesses, I'm making money right now. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, passive income.
Like this, that's wealth. That's not being rich. He was rich when he was making money off of playing these, massive concerts, making, actually apparently record artists like Shaq talked about this. He had like a deal with like a record label because he was guaranteed to cash off his popularity. He said he sold platinum, and he's like, I got less than $1 million for my platinum record. What the fuck? Like, he made more as a professional athlete than he did and so apparently, like a lot of record sales doesn't equate to a lot of money.
Yeah.
So saying that, how a lot of artists make most of their money is by going on tour, because when you go on tour, like that's where you make that money. So like 50 Cent was popular, and everywhere he went, he was not having fan attendance problems. But he was like, I made money, but now I'm like fucking wealthy.
Yeah, I mean, against that whole.
It's like when you're chilling at home, watching TV, and in the background, like, you have money being made. That's wealth.
Yeah. See, that's a goal. Do I know how I'm gonna get there? I have a blueprint.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's not like,
hey, share the blueprint with me.
well, after the show, not to the. Sorry, the audience can't hear this.
During the show.
No, that's an exclusive.
So for any future guests, you may also have access if you pull the cards right.
His OnlyFans. Check it out.
OnlyFans. Damn. Like, I'll get you the good photos. Just get you the good angles. But look, the whole point here is, that's what I want. And that's exactly what you, the point that you brought up, the whole wealth, like, instead of, I mean, again, it's one thing going and to me, I think, like you mentioned earlier on the rooftop when we were taking the break, you've had a bunch of jobs.
I've had 26.
That's a fucking shitload. I thought I had a lot. I'm up to, I think, only.
Okay, so 14? I'm gonna put a qualifier. I'm gonna put 26, but it may be like 22 before promotions.
Okay.
So I think if you count the promotions, that it goes up to 26. I could be off by plus or minus 1.
Yeah, that's a good amount. But that's good. I personally think. Then people are like, "Well, what?"
Do you know what soft skills are?
Who?
Do you know what soft skills are?
Soft skills. I remember hearing the terminology, but I do not remember it.
Can you? Can you like give me a guess of what you think soft skills are?
Okay, here we go. This is an exam.
You're not gonna
give
pass
me in
or
a
fail.
context. Give me a context.
Okay, so we're talking about low income countries. Countries that are classified as low income. What do you think they consider soft skills in their education system?
What do I? Okay. I think I might be a little confused.
So let me root it for you.
Yeah.
Let me give you some context. What do you think was a soft skill that Bell High, Elizabeth Learning Center, and if you went to another school before those two, and then you said you went to Cerritos and ELAC.
Yeah.
What soft skills do you think those different schools at different levels were trying to teach you?
I mean, for sure, mastering the craft that I was attempting to, go for. But I don't know. You know what? I would say it's just like the skills that I learned to how to interact with the people in that area, in that field. I think for the most part, it was just, I don't know. How would you describe it? I mean, just give me fucking skills to survive professionally, I mean, I guess that's the biggest thing I can take out of what that means. I mean, of course, it's different for the field you're in, but for me, it was just learning how to handle the clients and stuff.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know your life 100%, but we've been homies for a long time.
He's crazy.
We've been homies for some time, and I know that you do graphic design, and I know that you do like freelance work. So soft skills necessary for that kind of work is like communications, teamwork, taking initiative, being a team player. Those are soft skills. So in certain places, those skills are not taught, or in the education system, for multiple layered reasons, they're not delivered in education. I think it's like 170 million children don't know how to read at a first grade level. I believe I could be muddling the data a tiny bit, but you get the general point. So if you already don't know how to read and write, then being able to learn teamwork in a professional setting is a stretch at best. So you in the United States, as we're talking about high income country, you were taught soft skills and you never knew it. Because and you never knew it.
I never knew.
Like you right now, you're
I'm trying to be like, what did I learn from those?
So you're hosting a podcast. This is like you're an entrepreneur. Like that is like, oh, I'm gonna get it. Like that's a soft skill. That's a hard, like, I know I can talk to people. I know that I can work with them. I know that punctuality matters. I was like, yo, I'm going to be there in 30 minutes. And you're like, I'm ready for you to be here. Like that's punctuality. That's a soft skill. Like, you
just real quick, we didn't start on time because it was my fault. So punctuality out the window. But
I was trying to give you
social primate way.
Hey, I didn't want to say that. If you own up to it, that's even better. Look at that. It's called accountability.
Yes,
that's accountability.
There you go. Soft skill.
Thank you, Lalo.
Soft skill
101.
Thank you for admitting.
I do. Yeah, you know what? I didn't want to say it, but I appreciate. I didn't want to say it. I knew I arrived on time.
Yeah, you surprised me. I was like, "Fuck, he's already here. I'm not even fucking ready."
I arrived.
I appreciate
when
it.
I said I was going to arrive, and we had agreed upon it. It doesn't matter. That's not A, B, C, or D. So like in certain countries in the world, these skills need to be taught, and for X, Y, A, B, C, D, whatever reason, they're not. And so we need to get them there, and we can. And I know we can. I don't know. You don't have to believe me, but I can honestly say that, like, working your hardest every day or trying your best every day. I know I called you mamon, being like, oh, I want to be the best.
I want to be the very best.
The best there ever was.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's kind of like making fun of you for a bit on that, like, but I do honestly believe having that attitude and trying to apply it on an everyday setting will yield that greater outcome that you wanted to achieve, that you don't have control for, but you achieved it. And so, like, I am not the best. My friend tried to humbly remind me that I'm not the smartest. So he was like, check your ego, bitch.
Dang.
So I'm getting I'm in the pursuit of getting I just started a doctorate of education program. And he's like, check your ego, bitch. Which is good, because that makes him a good friend, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have somebody to ground you right back down,
Where would I be about that good humbling? Where would I be?
Oh man, we think we all know it's like so far up somewhere. But no, it's good, man. It's like, I don't want to give a shout out to somebody who doesn't need it, but Kendrick Lamar, sit down, stay humble. Huh. And I do listen to rap. I admit it.
I love accountability.
I love it.
Okay, I don't remember why I brought up that story. There was a reason why I was trying to conclude with that. I was going for something.
The whole
the arc. There's an arc to that story. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It was our fault. I'm just like right here.
It wasn't important, or else I would have remembered it.
It'll come to you. But
I fucked up.
For now.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm an idiot.
No, it happens. You see, those are the slip ups.
Oh, I know that. Thank you. That's what I'm an idiot. That's how I go to. Okay, so I am an idiot. That's the arc of the story. I am an idiot, but I work very hard and I care about what I work. I am not the smartest, but I try my best to work very hard. And I think that I have the soft skills taught to me to like work effectively with people who are not like me. And I think that's the greatest gift of LA. Like, I'm gonna tie it up with this, right? My closest friends are Cuban, Ecuadorian, Mexican, Salvadoran, Guatemalan, and I'm talking about just Cudahy. I'm not talking about worldwide. Like Cudahy wise, yeah, Cuban, Salvadoran, okay, what was this? Cuban, Ecuadorian, Mexican, Nicaraguan. Did I say Ecuador already?
Yeah.
All right, I'm fucking up.
No,
You'll
that's
edit
okay,
this
no,
out.
no.
Right.
Yeah,
How about you
don't worry,
just name drop them? Name drop them.
Okay.
No, you can-
Well, let's add the. You'll have to splice this.
Yeah.
Okay. I know where I was going. Okay. So growing up in Southeast LA, I grew up with Latinos from Nicaragua, Guatemala, El Salvador, other Mexicans. My one of the other friends are Ecuadorian, Cuban. I had like Puerto Rican friends. Like, there's a diversity of like Latino American people in Cudahy. We're like a diaspora of like Latinos. So because, and this is what I was talking about, like the umbrella terms, like my experiences with my friend who's Cuban are very similar because we grew up in Cudahy, but like Cuba has a very different history in relation to the United States than Mexico does. So like we're not the same historically, right? And so like my other friend who's Ecuadorian, his relationship with the United States versus, is very different than mine. And then my other friend who's Cuban. So like they're trying to group us in a certain way where our histories, which are so different and complex, are like erased. And I don't, so like, I think the point of this was like, I was fortunate to be born in this situation. I was able to work with a diverse set of teams. And like, now I'm able to work with people of so many different nationalities and work productively to achieve that greater good. Right. And I'm going to shout out to all of the guests that I've seen so far on your show. I have not listened to every one of your episodes, but I've seen a fair amount. And you have so many great guests. And I like admire the work that you do. Like I love your show because I'm like, and I asked this question earlier about like, do you see that progress happening? I asked that question for a reason because I'm like, you have so many like people who inspire me. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, this was on it. Like, I think we have different paths of purpose of what we want to achieve and why we want to achieve it. But as long as we're putting the best people forward to achieve those goals, we get all higher. Like, I wasn't joking about wanting to be next to Tom Araya and the Bell Auditorium. I like, that's a legitimate goal. Yeah. Like, I want to be next to Tom Araya in the Bell Auditorium.
It's gonna happen. We're gonna get in contact. We're gonna get in contact with Bell High School.
In 2008. If you want to reach out, no worries. But still, like, no, but like, I'm like, I think that's what needs to be rewarded. But like your guests, a lot of your guests focus on the LA area, and that's amazing. Like, that's what they care about. Maybe my area of interest is not just LA, but like other adventures of the world. And I think as long as we're putting the best people forward to represent us all, the fucking si se puede, man.
Yeah.
Si se fucking puede.
Yeah, si se puede, man.
Fucking si se puede, man. Yeah. You know what? I've had the very good fortune of meeting Dolores Huerta twice. And like, she is the most humble motherfucker in the world. And she's like, Cesar Chavez would not achieve what he achieved without Dolores Huerta. She's amazing. And I got the fortune of meeting her, right? And like, what she fought for, she believed for, and she went hard for it, and she achieved it. And what she inspired others to do, as long as they're doing the same thing, That's it. That's how we make the world a better place.
Damn, bro. You know,
That's how we make our world a better place.
I like how the conversation just ended in that very grounded sense. Damn, man. And that's how we're gonna end it, Rick. That's how we're gonna end it.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for making the time to come on here.
Thank you again
like
for
I
having
mentioned
me.
to you earlier, like the fact that you've been around, you've been going to different places the last couple of years, but now you're visiting before you go to fucking Metallica.
Listen to me sucking sick.
And then you're like,
Friday
dude, I'm
and
gonna do the
Sunday.
podcast. I'm like, dude, that's awesome, because again, you're taking time out of your day, out of your fucking life, just to come out here and just to get this thing done. Like that to me, every time anybody who ever does it, I'm grateful for it because it's time that.
Well,
a
I'm
lot of
glad you were
people have.
like, you're okay enough to come onto my show.
I know it wasn't because you hit me up. No, I was like, no, I gotta ask already.
Let's fact check this story, okay? But it doesn't matter. Thank you again.
No worries, man. And everybody else, I hope you guys have a great rest of the year. This will come out pretty soon, and we'll see you guys for the next couple of episodes. And by the way, before I forget, I'm gonna reintroduce because I totally forgot to introduce who I even had on the podcast right now. We got Cesar Gaijin Gaucho, Cesar Cruz, Live Locals member. This is the first time that Rick came onto the show. He was doing a Live Locals podcast with me, Cesar, and Angel. So if you heard him in the background, that was Cesar. He's guest starring, special guest star.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure being here, and then just even seeing Rick again. We go way back, and I remember him from high school, and always looking like he was gonna I don't know, something was gonna happen. And
Hopefully it does. Hopefully something does happen.
No, shit's been happening, Rick, and I feel like people in Cudahy are really proud of you, bro, and you've done a lot, and we're always happy to have you back and stuff, back in the
I
city.
hope maybe it's not 5 years since you invite me again.
Yeah, hopefully not. But if it is, where we're gonna be hanging out, probably cellar.
We're gonna track you down. Don't
And your
worry
hair
about
better
it.
still be long, homie.
I hope so. All right.
All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe, and just do your best. Peace.
Yeah, happy holidays.